Hey guys, look, I'm actually going to do a medical video, a little bit. A lot of times you see me do some videos on prolapse cloacas. So that is a little different than what we're going to look at today. So here we got somebody who's pretty upset right now, this is a reticulated python, this is an ocelot. He has a distended hemipene. So remember, snakes have two penes, and he has one. So probably what happened was he was breeding a female, and they pulled apart. And the purpose of the hemipene is to get inside the female's cloaca and then enlarges with blood. And then there's all sorts of like ripples. And in some snakes, there's actually spines. But in this case, we're going to show you what his hemipene looks like when it's sticking out of his body. But I got to fix this, because if I don't fix it, what's going to happen is his hemipene is going to dry up. It's going to become necrotic. And when you have necrotic tissue attached to this, that's a great source for potential infection. So I'm going to show you how I do it. That's it. All right, guys, you can see this. So right now, so this is uncomfortable for the snake. So we've actually been soaking this snake, and it was noticed by one of my people that something was sticking out of him. So we've been soaking it. But what we want to do is all this, so this dying tissue right here, this is all necrotic tissue. We do not want to include that back into the snake when we clean him up. He's actually going into a shed right now. So he's a handful right now. So remember, so the hemipene, it kind of comes out like a sock, and then it can extend. So I just want to be a little smart right here, and I want to get rid of all this material. So this is called debriding. So we're actually just going to remove dead tissue, and obviously a vet, this is pretty simple for a vet. I just want to make sure there's nothing unhealthy. So you're seeing this guy's shedding, so a bunch of the stuff's coming off. Okay, so we're looking pretty good. No necrotic tissue. So that is, remember, so that's his actual hemipene. So we're gonna try to loop this up. Dan is having a hell of a time. Okay. Yeah, it's never pretty. All right, so let's kind of get this. Some iodine or betadine, povoiodine would be great for this. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try to invert this back into this guy. And what's happened is, as it's prolapsed, it's come out of his body, and he doesn't have the ability to push it back. So we're going to kind of reverse this sock. So I don't have enough hands. All right, I have to get that part in first. Look at that. So look at this right here. So that is...
Yikes.
Yeah, we know what that is. Okay, so I've already cleaned myself up, so I'm pretty good, but you can see that this is inverted. We're gonna just try to... He is really fighting us. Okay. Wow, I was just having it. Wow. So we're losing. Now it's all slimy. So this is, yeah. So you got to get the base. All right. Let's collect ourselves.
Yeah. We'll be right back after the break.
He really fought us. So this is really clean. So we don't have blood. So this is just an internal part that is stuck out in the real world. But now I got some help. So these guys are helping hold. Look at them. Look at them all. Okay. So
how many nerd employees does it take?
Yeah, we're going to try to invert this. So wait, what he's done is look at that, out of sight, out of mind. So let me clean this up. Okay, so what you would do, so right off the bat, I'm using is a povidone or povoiodine solution, some silver honey, and I use a sterile water and clean stuff. So you clean the area, you debride it, so you remove all the dead tissue, and then you kind of lubricate it with antibacterial, some kind of ointment. And what's happening is, so I invert it back inside there, and now we're going to wait for the muscles on this to actually kind of take over. So when we have a distended cloaca, what actually happens is the little muscle that essentially acts like the sphincter, which is a little, little tight thing that they control with their muscles, starts getting sad. It loses its muscle control. So sometimes we have animals that are going through some kind of stress, sick, dehydrated, any of these things, and they'll prolapse their entire cloaca. In this case, it was an inverted hemipene. So the male will pick one of his penes, and when he's courting the female, he will then purposely invert it, and it comes out and it will enter her cloaca, and then it goes up inside her cloaca, and then it starts to expand, and it gets very, very large. So that little thing right there didn't look like much. That'll get a lot larger. And snakes, they don't actually ejaculate. What they do is they pass sperm up a little valley in that peen, like a little structure, and it just kind of seeps up there. So the male will breed with her for a long time, and as that's happening, we have the passage of sperm. So this guy, right now, I could normally, maybe I just clean this off, and then I would come along and I might tape this shut. So we would probably tape it shut, and I'd use just some medical tape. You really could even use electrical tape on this with some gauze. And what you're doing is you're reinforcing the animal's muscle, so you're not just relying on the muscle of the cloaca and the peen just to stay inside. You're actually just trapping it mechanically, and you're giving this guy a couple days to heal. But the peen looks really, really good. But you definitely want to keep an eye out if you ever see your snakes breeding and all of a sudden you see something hanging out. That is often the male's peen, and if you let that drag around the substrate and you let that dry out and become damaged, you can actually destroy that hemipene from physical damage and then secondary bacterial. And if it dries out, you're going to lose that peen. But even with one peen, monitors and snakes can still successfully breed. But in this case, I figure we're going to give him a best chance, and he's going to have 2 peens. And how's that? Thank you, guys.
I forgot to record. I'm kidding.
I'm like, okay. I was like, no. Her face wasn't changing.